is change. Resistance is futile. If you're a Star Trek fan, then you'll probably know this phrase. Resistance is futile, which is an alien race the Borg uses. The Borg, which are linked to the hive called the Collective. Forcibly, they transform individuals, beings, into drones. Borg's ultimate goal is achieving perfection. As a project manager, we have some similarities with the Borg. We want our projects to be delivered on time, on budget, in the scope, this quality, while at the end having a project that delivers the value to the organization and having our clients and stakeholders happy with the end results. Resistance to change is a part of human evolution. If something works, why change? No, a project manager cannot implant device into our team nor the stakeholders like the Borg and make them assemble to the project charter. As a project manager, you have your charter, you created your project plan, you identify people who should be accomplished certain tasks, you started the process flow, you hit the roadblock. You talk to the person who's supposed to provide feedback and they use the information. What do? Well, escalating. If you haven't heard before, this is the last option. During the process reengineering on one of the companies, I was getting a slow response to the process flow until I held a meeting asking the folks what's the new business process meant to them. They were hesitant at first. Then they opened up and asked if this was going to eliminate their jobs. After understanding their resistance to provide the information was brought by their fear of losing their jobs, I explained that the information was needed for the business process improvement and not the job cuts. We were able to eliminate manual errors, which let the workers complete their jobs more efficiently. The process flow diagram was created. Errors from the manual work was eliminated, as well as the delays from the manual process. So the lesson here is, as a project management, you have to understand not what this project means to you, but how this change is interpreted by your team. Communication methods to use. Communication, communication, communication. Which communication method to use? Using the rote communication can lead to misinterpretation, rework, producing more confusion and delays. Instant messaging. Instant messaging, or SMS, use it when you need to get a quick response, update for the simple request. This method, however, should be avoided if no needs to collaborate or convey a complex message with the broader audience. Email. It is communication choice for folks. However, it might not be as effective as other communication methods. Email is good to communicate and disseminate communication to the broadest audience. It should be used to send messages that are direct and easy to understand. You should use it to send updates, share documents where quick responses are not necessary. Subject line should be clear and to the point. At the beginning of the email body, you should provide the contents. Please place the contents at the top of the email body so that the intended reader knows if the message is directed towards them and if the immediate action is needed to be taken right away, or if it is something of importance or just an FYI. You should avoid email to communicate if you need to discuss complex issues or if you need a fast response. Telephone, teleconferences. Using teleconference when you have the need to interact with others and expect questions on topics which are of medium in complexity. Here, you'll be able to differentiate on people's tone, rate of speech, and based on that, be able to tell if your message is getting across somewhat better than if the responses were written. Avoid communication methods when topics are complex in nature. Face-to-face. It is the best type of communication method. Face-to-face is where relationships are built. If people are collocated, this should be your first choice if you need to collaborate on a complex topic. You are able to deduce how others are communicated, even if they are not speaking, by observing their body language, their gestures, their mannerisms, their eye contact, or lack of it. And you're able to observe not only the person who is speaking, but other people's responses. Scheduling for a large group of people can be a challenge, and if your team is dispersed locations, face-to-face could be a challenge if you don't have a big conference room to place where all of the people in front of the camera. No, the more people are on the project, the bigger the communication channel is. The formula for number of communication channels is n times n minus 1 divided by 2, where n is the number of team members or stakeholders on a project. Which communication method you should use? Well, I'll provide you a consultant answer. It depends. Depends what you're trying to accomplish. So whatever communication you choose, remember to communicate with the right folks at the right time with the right communication method. Conflict resolution. Who is your boss? When dealing with a conflict that involves a resource, we as a project managers need to get to the bottom of the conflict and its resolution. If we can't get to resolve conflicts ourselves, we've been told by persons to get persons manager involved. However, experts in the conflict resolution that I've interviewed point out that this technique will be harmful in the long term. People are people, take their pride in their work, and that pride, and to protect their pride. And when somebody's manager is involved in the conflict, now that pride is under attack. When a person is under attack, defense mechanisms take place. Yes, they will comply with whatever the boss tells them. Yes, they will comply with whatever the project manager tells them because of the authority overseeing the project. However, conflict experts will tell you, once the person's pride gets hurt, that scars them for a long time. People fear of being fired will remember you and curse you for as long as you're around. Our sense of being is tied to our careers and particular job. Afterwards, expect the person with whom you had a conflict and brought in their boss to provide only the minimum effort. So how do you get more than a minimum? Well, by putting yourself into their shoes, by talking to them and understanding of why they're acted in certain ways, why they don't perform certain tasks. Some folks are just plain rude and have a big chip on their shoulder. So when Mr. Nice Guy doesn't work, that's the time to involve their boss before the project starts to be affected.